Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honors, and glories unto YAHAWAH, YAHAWASHI, QADASH. Double honors to my elders and my apostles of Great Milestone. They do indeed well. Peace, blessings, and salutations be unto the elect, the all-elected, the one-third. Shalom. This is Brother Dawadah. Come back at you with another video through the spirit and power of YAHAWAH, YAHAWASHI. And today I want to do a video entitled The Flesh. Now, before I get into it, just a quick update on my backup channel until Shiloh comes by. That channel has been terminated. Alright. The channel already had 2 strikes and posted a video, and they clipped the video because of the thumbnail that was used, which shows some degenerate Jakes smoking. They said that was oh, you can't post that or whatever it was. But here it is. They can post the same thing, but nothing happens to other major channels. They can post women twerking and people that are naked on YouTube, people hurting themselves and such. And there's no strikes for them, right? That shows you this place got to go. But anyways, that channel has been terminated. So now the channels that I use or have are Until Shiloh Comes. That's my original channel, my main channel. And then the backup, or the new backup, I should rather say, which is Until Shiloh Comes 3. The link to the third channel, which is my new backup channel now, will be in the description box below. All right. So let's get into the topic. So the flesh. Now, the flesh is the #1 enemy, all right, of our existence. Like the elder Apostle Gabar always says, this flesh is the bane of our existence. It's our enemy. And that's why a lot of times you may desire to do something, but then the flesh holds you back. You may want to study, but then the flesh is sleepy. And then when you want to sleep, you're tired. Okay, let me go to sleep. But then the flesh want to, eat a meal. The flesh want to, get some ice cream. The flesh wants to stay up. So it's contrary. You have one desire. It's like your body wants to do something totally different. Well, you have certain times where you're tired. You're physically tired, but then you can't sleep. See, they call it insomnia, as it were. So it's a constant war. Battling this flesh. Sometimes you're sweating, you're real hot, but then you don't feel like drinking any water. It's like, what the hell, right? That's because what we're in is a chain, and sometimes, well, speaking for myself at least, I'm sure you have the same sentiment, or which is that sometimes you feel like you're physically trapped. You actually feel trapped in your body, like you just want to break free, because this body is holding you back. You can't do everything that you desire to do, Certain times you want to, you want to get up and exercise, but then the body is tired, all right? And then sometimes when you're tired, you want to study, but then the body don't feel like studying, The body want to chill, It's a constant struggle. So let's start off in the book of Jude. Let's start off in the book of Jude. This Jude was the biological brother of Yahawashi. Yahawashi, he had biological brothers, all right? And he had one sister also, He had 2 brothers that were in the faith. That would be James and Jude, the same one that you read about before the book of Revelation. All right, that James is Yahawashi's brother. And then you also have Jude. All right, when you read about the book of Jude, he was another brother of Yahawashi. Yahawashi, he also had 2 other brothers that were not of the faith. All right, they weren't in the truth. And he also had one sister. Now it's heavy because you have a scripture in the book of Jeremiah, the 3rd chapter, where the Lord said that he would take us one of a family. The Lord's will for part of the elect. He would take his elect, one of a family and 2 of a household, So the Lord Yahawashi had 2 brothers in the faith and 2 that weren't. That shows you balance. And if Yahawashi, if he had brothers that were not in the faith, 2 of them at least that were not in the faith, You know, how much more for these average Jakes out here that can't get it? You know, and here it is, Yahawashi, he was there with them, and they still didn't believe. How much more for the average Jake out here that don't want to get this word? This is the book of Jude, chapter 1, and verse 6. And the angels which kept not their first estate, but left their own habitation, he hath reserved in everlasting chains under darkness until the judgment of the great day. And yeah, we are found within this situation where we're trapped. All right, this body, all right, which the word body goes back to the Latin bodeg, meaning house. This body it's a house for your spirit, but it's also a prison. You know, it's a prison, and we're waiting to be liberated from this prison. You know, oftentimes you have bodily ailments, bodily pains. You know, you got bumps all over your body, you got bumps on your face. You know, and you're wondering like, what the hell going on? You know, everything that we eat, you know, it seems to mess our bodies up. You know, even if you try to eat the best, non-GMO foods, which I call it the best of the worst, you know, because it ain't perfect, you know. But even after you try to eat the best, the best herbs, the best fruits, vegetables, this, that, and the third, you exercise, you still end up getting sick. You still end up feeling bodily pains. Why? Because we're in this flesh. It says, in the angels, Jude 1 and 6, and the angels which kept not their first estate. The first estate is the spirit realm, but left their own habitation, same thing, the spirit realm. He hath reserved in everlasting chains. That's these bodies. All right. What's the purpose of a chain? To keep someone shackled up, to keep you locked down. All right. And we're locked down within this body. You know? He says, he hath reserved in everlasting chains. That's these bodies. Because they're a prison. Under darkness. Because at one point we didn't know who we were. Until the judgment of the great day. That's when YAHAWASHI comes back. Also known as the day of the Lord. So during the day of the Lord, that is when the elect, all right, will be liberated from this vile body. You know, you got to wake up and, here it is, you're drinking coffee, but you're still tired. It's like, what the heck? You know, here it is, you're exercising and your body's still weak. It's like, what's going on? You know, here it is, you're jogging, you're doing your daily jogs, but yet you walk up the steps, you still feel tired. That shows you that this body is not, this ain't where it's at. Of course, growing up, Jake would always tell you, oh, you were made perfect. Oh, you're perfect. No one's not perfect. God made everybody perfect. No, that's not, no. We're not going to be perfected until the Lord, Yahawah, Ba'ashim, Yahawashi gives us new bodies. That's when the perfection comes. But up until then, we're going to be, like the Elder Apostle Ariyamla put it, imperfect beings, all right, in an imperfect body, all right? We're imperfect beings in an imperfect body striving for perfection. See? So it's an impossible situation. So the time that the liberation will come, all right, to be free from these shackles, which is these bodies, that'll come when YAHAWASHI comes back. Because right now, you'll see it. You'll see a young man, he'll be talking about, oh, I got back pains. You'll be like, what the heck? Let's go from there to the book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. Deuteronomy 28 and verse 35. Well, let's start at 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou, that thou is the nation of Israel, when thou hearken unto the voice of Yahawah, Ba'ashim, Yahawashi, thy power, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Now, one of the curses that befell us is this right here, verse 35. Yahawah Ba'ashim Yahawashi shall smite thee in the knees and in the legs with a sore botch that cannot be healed, from the sole of thy foot unto the top of thy head. And that's why you see these young Jakes walking around with canes, walking around with crutches. Why? Because we're under the curses. You have Jake that have bad knees, and they'll be young, you know? So, we need help, you know? We definitely need help. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 40, and verse Isaiah 40 and uh, 30. Even the youth shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fall. So even a young man is gonna get tired, you know? They'll be complaining, oh, I'm so tired, I ain't got no energy. And the older generation looking at them like, what? What's wrong with you? When I was your age, you know how many times we've heard that over the years? When I was your age, when our parents or our relatives will speak about, when they were younger. When I was your age, I was doing this. I was jumping. I was climbing up trees, and you know, but we're weaker now. You know, our generation now, we're under all types of different stresses. You know, we have GMO foods, different chemicals in our water, different chemicals in our food. We're catching hell. You know, in the ancient world, there wasn't no such thing as some chemtrails, some GMO food. You know, that wasn't a thing, but we have that now, and it's destroying us. Right? Different sicknesses that we have, and of course, we're in these corruptible bodies. So, the youths are gonna faint and be weary, and the young men will utterly fall. Especially now, most especially now. Let's go from there to the book of Second Ezra. So if you're wondering, well, why do I feel so tired? Here it is. You sleep maybe 13 hours. You sleep 13 hours and you wake up still yawning. It's like, what's going on? You know? And what's going on is that, you're realizing that you're within a chain, which is a body, the prison. You know? Let's see. Second Ezra, chapter 14, and verse 10. It says, "For the world hath lost his youth." Yeah, even this earth that we're on, it's lost its youth. All right. What's an example of that? Grapes. Grapes are supposed to be the size of basketballs. One grape is supposed to be the size of a huge basketball. Because in the ancient world, it took two strong men to carry a cluster of grapes. You know, I believe there's a wine. It's either a wine or it's an olive oil, and it shows you two grown men or men carrying a cluster of grapes with their. It took two men to carry that cluster of grapes. It's either an olive oil or it's a wine. You know, it's two men carry a big old. It's how you get your grapes from the store. And it has the vine and you got a bunch of grapes on it. It took two men to lift that cluster of grapes up. You know, so just imagine how huge those grapes had to have been. You know, so just imagine how many nutrients could be found within those grapes in the ancient world. Just imagine that. So even the world is this world they're on has lost its youth. Blueberries, you see how small the blueberries are when you buy them from your different supermarkets, and they're like $6 for like a crate of blueberries. They don't even give you that much, but it's so expensive. Just imagine how large one blueberry was back in the ancient world. For the world hath lost his youth, and is going to be restored back to them in the kingdom of heaven. And the times begin to wax old. Now I'm going to jump from there to same book, Second Ezra. See if I can find it. Yeah, let's grab this, but then see. Yeah, here it is. Second Ezra chapter 5 and verse Instead of 48. Then said he unto me, even so have I given the womb of the earth to those that be sown in it in their times. For like as a young child may not bring forth the things that belong to the aged, even so have I disposed the world which I created. And I asked, the eyes Esdras, and said, seeing thou hast now given me the way, I will proceed to speak before thee. For our mother, of whom thou hast told me that she is young, draweth now nigh unto age. He answered me and said, ask a woman that beareth children, and she shall tell thee. Say unto her, wherefore, meaning why, are not they whom thou hast now brought forth like those that were before, but less of stature? And she shall answer thee, they that be born in the strength of youth are of one fashion, and they that are born in the time of age, when the womb faileth, are otherwise. Consider thou therefore also how that ye are less of stature than those that were before you. So Esdras, all right, stature means how tall or short you are. All right, stature is how tall you are. So he was saying, look, Esdras, those that came before you, they were taller than you. You know, you're shorter than they that were on the scene before you. How much more for us now? You know, we've lost that stature that we once had. You know, we're way shorter now. You'll see Jake; they'll be like 4'11", you know, 4'10", 5 foot even. You know, so we're less of stature, and so are they that come after you less than ye. So those that will come on the scene after Esdras are going to be even shorter than the height of Esdras. As the creatures which now begin to begin to be old, and have passed over the strength of youth. So when you go back in the history, everything back then was bigger, and men were bigger. You know, fruits were bigger, animals were bigger, trees were bigger. You know, but as time has waxed older, we've grown closer and closer to the end of this place, and wickedness has increased more and more. Everything has began to decrease in stature, decrease in size. You know, so that shows you what, when the kingdom comes, everything's going to be brought back to how it's supposed to be. You know, so we're coming into the time of the end. This world is definitely corrupted. You know. So Esdras, he was shorter than those that came before him, and we ourselves were much shorter than Esdras. So these bodies are weakened. Now let's go from there to the book of Amos, Amos 9 and 11. Which, by the way, I didn't have any scriptures prepared. I'm just going with the Spirit. Amos 9 and 11. Also, Salak, if it's all over the place, Lord's will still edify. Amos 9:11. And that day will I, that's Yahawah Shem Yahawashi, raise up the tabernacle of David, that's also known as the elect, right? Also known as the house of Joseph. That's all talking about the elect. That is fallen. So we fell from this great and lofty state that we were in. Our might, our power, our strength in the ancient world. Just like the analogy I used before, how our parents always told us, like, hey, when I was your age, I was climbing up trees. I had energy for days, you know? That's why you got the term old man strength. Because you would have these older Jakes, but they'll still be strong as hell. You know? They'll be still strong. They can jump up and down. They can do push-ups, you know? Even in their old age, they're still strong. Their bones are still strong, you know? They're able to run. Even at 80, they'll be 80-something still running. You know, living on their own, they'll be good. But not nowadays. Nowadays, you know, is true. Jake lucky to get over 50. You know, so we've fallen from this great state that we were in. You know, during the time of King David, he had King David and his mighty men. They were getting down. You know, that's part of that great and lofty state Jake was in. Let's go from there to the book of 2 Samuel, the 23rd chapter. So we fell. We've definitely fallen. 2 Samuel chapter 23 and verse 8. These be the names of the mighty men whom David had. The Tachmonite that sat in the seat, chief among the captains. The same was Adino the Ezonite. he lift up his spear against 800 whom he slew at one time. So he killed 800 people at one time, you know, in the same city, like, as it were. So that's an individual that is mighty. That's an individual that has power, you know. You don't see that happening no more. Jake, Jake, if they're fighting two people, they'll be, nervous. Here it is, he fought 800 men and slew them, So that's the individual that is mighty. That's a mighty man. We fell from that great state. We've fallen. Amos 9:11. In that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David, that's the elect, which are in that day now, that is fallen. I gave you an example of that. We fell from that great state that we were in. Adino slaying 800 men. You have Abishai slaying 300 men with the spear. All right. You have Benaiah. All right. You have King David's mighty men that were getting down back then. Now, Abraham, when he gave birth to Isaac, how old was he? Genesis 21:5. And Abraham was 100 years old when his son Isaac was born unto him. That definitely ain't happening now. 100-year-old man, dealing with a woman and that woman giving birth to a child, and the child being perfectly healthy. So that shows you that we've regressed, most definitely. But it's not going to be like that forever, because YAHAWASHI is going to liberate us from these bodies. Let's go from there to the book of Malachi, the fourth chapter, Malachi 4:2. It says, "But unto you that fear my name shall the Son of Righteousness," that's Yahawashi, "arise with healing in his wings." The healing is going to be when he gives his elect those new bodies. That's the healing, the new bodies. Because these bodies, we're sickly in it. We're catching hell. We're subject to demonic thoughts, wicked thoughts. Certain thoughts Satan put in your head. You're like, what the hell? You rebuke it in the name of Yahweh Shai. You're like, I got her ton, which means I rebuke thee, Satan. So we definitely need healing from these bodies. Certain brothers have dealt with depression. Certain brothers have dealt with, different serious bodily injuries and bodily ailments. We need out of these bodies. It says, "And unto you that fear my name shall the Son of Righteousness," that's Yahawashi, "arise with healing in his wings, and shall go forth and grow up as calves of the stall." Meaning you're going to be pampered in the kingdom. As calves of the stall, they're well taken care of. So in the kingdom of heaven, the Israelites are going to be pampered. So just say, before you even think about what you want, Yahweh Yahawashi is going to give it unto you. See? So Yahweh Yahawashi is going to liberate us from these bodies. Because here it is, you want to do the right thing. A lot of times you want to, be perfect. You want to do the right thing, but the body is holding you back. Romans 7:11. "For sin, taken occasion by the commandment, deceived me, and by it slew me. Wherefore the law is holy, and the commandment holy, and just, and good." Yeah, the law, statutes, and commandments, they're on point. That's what made us holy. That's what made us separate from these heathen. Was that then which is good made death unto me? That's what it feels like. The Most High forbid, meaning no. But sin, that it might appear sin, working death in me. And that's why we eventually die, because this body is corruptible. That sin by the commandment might become exceeding sinful. For we know that the law is spiritual, but I am carnal, sold under sin. Yeah, because we're trapped in these bodies. So here it is, you want to do the right thing, but then you're trapped. So it's like, what the heck? "For that which I do, I allow not. For what I would, that do I not. But what I hate, that I do. Slakia, that do I." So it says, "For that which I do, I allow not." Because why? Because he wants to be totally righteous. He wants to do the right thing, but it's impossible to be totally righteous because they're in these bodies. "For what I would, that do I not. But what I hate, that do I." Why? Because he's trapped in these corruptible bodies, just like us. "If then I do that which I would not, I consent unto the law that it is good." Yeah, the law is good, but what's bad? Our bodies. You know, that's there's going to be a second covenant. Why? Is it because the first covenant was off? It was not perfect? No, it was because the Lord found fault in us because we couldn't keep it perfectly. This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 8, and verse 8. For finding fault with them, that's the Israelites. Let me start at 7. For if that first covenant had been faultless, then should no place have been sought for the second. But the first covenant, of course, it was perfect. It was on point. But what was the problem? Us. We couldn't keep it perfectly. For finding fault with them, that's the Israelites. He saith, Behold, the days come, saith Yahweh Baal Shem Yahushai, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and the house of Judah, all right, which is all 12 tribes. Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that it's like when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt, because they continued not in my covenant, and I regarded them not, saith Yahweh Baal Shem Yahushai. For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, which will come into that time swiftly, saith Yahweh Baal Shem Yahushai. I will put my laws into their mind and write them in their hearts, and I will be to them a power, and they shall be to me a people. So that's when we're going to be made perfect. And when you're made perfect, by default, all right, you're not going to sin again. Because sin is a transgression of the law. The Lord is going to put his laws, statutes, and commandments in their inward parts. Therefore, you're not going to die anymore. All right? You're going to be made perfect. Well, you can't put a price on that. Romans 7 and verse 16. If then I do that which I would not, I consent unto the law that it is good, which it is. Now then, it is no more I that do it, but sin that dwelleth in me. Yeah. So this flesh is corruptible to begin with. It's wicked to begin with. Point blank period. For I know that in me, that is in my flesh, dwelleth no good thing. So here it is. Why is that? Because this flesh is inherently wicked. For to will is present with me, meaning you want to do the right thing, but how to perform that which is good, I find not. Why? Because he's trapped within these bodies. Our spirit wants to do the right thing, but then the flesh wants to do the wrong thing. But that is eventually going to change. The Lord made everything two and two, one contrary against another. You got the spirit and you got the flesh. And it's necessary for that battle to take place. But eventually the spirit will conquer the flesh through Yahawashi. All right? Through Yahawashi we get that victory. He's going to change our vile bodies and fashion it so it can be just like his glorious body. This is the book of Philippians, chapter 3, and verse 21. And he reads, For our conversation is in heaven, from whence also we look for the Savior, that's Yahushai, the Lord Yahushai Mashiach, who shall change our vile body, that's this corruptible flesh, that it may be fashioned like unto his glorious body, according to the working whereby he is able even to subdue all things unto himself. And the last thing that will be subdued, the last enemy that will be subdued is death. It tells you that in 1 Corinthians, the 15th chapter. That's what we're waiting for. So with that, I want to give all praises, honors, and glories unto Yahweh Baal Shem Yahushai, Bahashem QADASH, the blondest of my elders and my apostles, the Great Milestone, they're doing the well. Peace, blessings, and salutations be unto the elect, the afflicted one third. With that being said, Shalom. RAWCHAA. Shalom.